Live right now because I've been hearing a story that has been circulating on the internet. And normally when I hear stories on the internet, folks, I will go out and do my own research to determine whether or not it's true before I speak on it. Some things are not true and some things are just the internet, trying to get a rise out of folks and trigger them. So when I heard this latest story, of course, I went to check it out. When I went to check it out, I found out that some things weren't adding up. I am the kind of individual that I don't believe in dealing with middlemen. I go straight to the source. So if there's a problem with the courts, I'm going to the judge. If there's a problem with the state, I'm going to the governor. If there's a problem with the country, I'm going to the president. I do not deal in middlemen, in middle people. And in case you're wondering why I'm addressing you and to all the folks that are waving that have tuned in to hear this, maybe you already heard about this, but I think I need to speak about this. By now, some of you have heard that there's a situation boiling up out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And big shout out to the rapper T.I. for attempting to bring some attention to this situation. When I heard about it, of course, I went to the usual sources to try to find out what happened. It wasn't what I found out that made me suspicious. It wasn't what I found out that made me think, oh, goddamn, what's going on here? It's what I couldn't find out. I'm speaking about the death of an individual by the name of Taemin Blair. If you haven't heard this story, Taemon Blair is a 21-year-old black man, young man who was found hung inside of his own tractor trailer in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He did not live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was doing his job. He was from North Carolina. This young man was found lynched inside of his own trailer. I'm using the word lynching because there are several aspects of his story that point toward anything but a suicide. But I am not one to give in to rumors, so I actually reached out to find out what the police were saying. And I reached out to find out what the governor was saying and what the state was saying. I'm holding a document in my hand. This document is from the Allen County Coroner, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it is dated March 21st, 2019. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to tell you what I want. And to the folks in Fort Wayne, if I don't get what I want, I am going to put your little town on the map in a way that you probably won't enjoy. But this is from Christopher Mills, who is the deputy coroner for Allen County Coroner's Office. He says the Allen County Coroner's Office was contacted regarding a death investigation in the 9100 block of Bluffington Road in Fort Wayne, Indiana on March the 14th, 2019. The next of kin of the deceased individual has been notified, and he was identified as Taemin Blair, male, black, age 21, of Huntersville, North Carolina. The cause of death is asphyxia due to hanging, and the manner of death is suicide. And this is signed by Christopher Mills, Deputy Coroner, Allen County Coroner's Office. So I've got this document. So we do know that the young man did die. We also know that the coroner is saying that he died by killing himself. Fortunately, when someone dies, they have to give the body to somebody. The body went back to the family. The family got the body back. They said that didn't match up. I'm kind of reminded about another person who was in the Army. If you all remember the story of PFC Johnson, who was the first female soldier to die in Iraq, back during the Iraq War, and they said that she committed suicide. Sure she did. She raped herself, put caustic acid inside of herself, burned off her fingerprints so that, you couldn't even identify who she was. She was brutalized. She was beaten and she was raped. And the government to this day covered it up. They called it suicide. You cannot commit suicide with an M16 pointed in your mouth. This document right here from the coroner's office in Fort Wayne, Indiana, is saying that this young man killed himself. Yet his family is saying that his body was brutalized, his legs were broken. There were some other things. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Here's the problem. The police department in Fort Wayne, Indiana says they have no comment on this issue because the investigation It's still ongoing. Well, now you contradicted yourself. If the coroner said it was a suicide, what investigation is still ongoing? And why won't you all release any information about what happened to this young man? If you all are not aware of this story, I'm not surprised. The media is totally ignoring it. Black man lynched in Indiana. I have had the unfortunate pleasure of visiting Fort Wayne, Indiana in the past. If you don't know where this place is, it's about 3 or 4 hours north of Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's deep in the woods. Trust me, been there, done that. Good old boys all day long. It's very possible something like this did happen, and they don't want this to get out. Well, if you didn't want it to get out, you shouldn't have let it leak out. You shouldn't have let anyone start talking about it. And you damn sure didn't want me to find out about it. Now, folks, you know I'm on another mission right now, but I got to pause what I'm doing to deal with this. So I am going to go online and say that if there's any information surrounding the death of this young man in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that we don't know, that we need to know to stop it from blowing up into something even worse. Because if lynching is, back in these days, as opposed to everything else that they used to do in Jim Crow, then the brothers and sisters need to know that so that we can start responding like we used to do back in the day too. You see, we're trying to respond like we do today to stuff that y'all do back in the day. But guess what? If we start responding like we used to do back in the day, y'all gonna have some back in the day problems. So this right here, this document is all I need from the coroner's office to let me know that there is a body and that someone has died, but that we can't seem to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And you all know that what that means. That means that you can expect me to be setting foot down in Fort Wayne, Indiana, soon, if I don't get an answer to what happened to this man right here. Now, let me go ahead and shut some down real quick before they get started. We're not going to play victim blaming. Nobody's perfect. So stop saying that just because somebody ended up dead because of everything they ever did in their life, that's why they ended up. People still kill people. Innocent people, guilty people. But a death is a death. So I don't want to hear about this man's past. They pulled his criminal record from North Carolina as if to justify the fact that he was dead. Oh, no. We're not letting that ride, partner. What he did in North Carolina ain't got nothing to do with the fact that he ended up got his GED, got his straight A student. This man had a kid on the way. He got a job truck driving. And then he ended up in little country redneck backwoods Fort Wayne, Indiana, and decides to hang himself in the back of his own truck. I'm sorry, but I got a question. Bruhs and sisters, hanging? The average man commits suicide with a pistol. Hanging, that's just got a real bad taste in our past. Even if I wanted to kill myself, I wouldn't hang myself. I don't want to know what my ancestors went through like that. No. If I got to go, I'm going to go in a way that we couldn't go back then. Let me see. We couldn't, in a place where they say colors wasn't allowed. That's where I'm going to kill myself, because I want to experience something that doesn't have a bad connotation. And I have a hard time believing that Taemin Blair killed himself in that manner in redneck backwoods country ass Fort Wayne, Indiana. And that's why I'm going live, because this has become my next to-do. I hope they didn't lynch that boy. I really hope they didn't. In the meantime, my peoples, watch your back. Stay vigilant. Y'all got me all backwards. I don't hate other people. I just love my people. And I don't know when loving your people became racist. I just like love my black people. Y'all be good. I'll be back to let you know what I find out, because this story should be all over the news. And it's not. As a matter of fact, y'all rather talk about Jesse. I'm done with him too. Y'all be easy. Let the brother go to work.